Hello my friends. My name is Bot Mathematician, and this is Holomancer.
Today we have collected all of the most important information about the Hall of Fame rotation, and 10 new cards that will be added to the game with the next update.
The news of new cards and cards going to the Hall of Fame took us by surprise.
Mike Dene said on stream that we will see replacements for the Hall of Fame cards. We assumed that some cards might leave standard, and thought this would happen along with balance changes. To be honest, we expected that Rexer would specifically suffer losses, since Hunter is the strongest and most popular class in 2019, but it looks like the developers had very different plans.
After a nerf patch, and a buff patch, we get a Hall of Fame rotation. Usually this happens alongside the standard rotation with the first expansion of each year. The last rotation took place a few months ago. This amount of developer activity is amazing.
This time Team 5 decided to kill the one-turn kill priest and deprive rogues of a very important tool. But first things first.
In general, the main goal of all these changes is to keep the 9 classes of Hearthstone feeling distinct.
The developers want them to have their own strengths and weaknesses, and want to straighten out classes who have wandered a little too far from their concepts. At least, this is what the developers say.
The first and biggest changes are to the Rogue and Priest.
Mind Blast, a card that does 5 damage to the enemy hero, is being retired in favor of Radiance. Radiance restores 5 health to the Priest's hero. Put simply, this card is a worse version of Flash Heal and Binding Heal.
The developers briefly described how they see the identity of each class, including their strengths, limitations, and weaknesses. This is what they think about the Priest.
Priests use holy light and shadow magic to defeat their opponents.
Wait. It seemed to me that Mind Blast is an important part of shadow magic for priests.
Thanks for the comment, but it seems the developers think otherwise.
In fact, they have long said that they are not completely satisfied with OTK decks. Priest is not meant to be a burst class that can deal a lot of burn damage from hand.
It seems the developers want the Priest to win throughout valuing the opponent with control builds.
Can I read on?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Priests control a bottle's outcome using powerful spells with situational applications. While not the most aggressive, they are able to generate, copy, and use combinations of cards to create a powerful army. Strengths: healing, narrow but powerful spells, copying, single minion buffs, death rattles. Limitations: card draw. Weaknesses: face damage spells, multi-minion buffs.
This seems like a good idea to clearly describe the class, its capabilities, and its main strategies and potential archetypes.
Losing Vanish is a huge blow to rogues. This card is being replaced with Plaguebringer, a 3/3 minion that adds the poisonous trait to an allied minion.
Here's how the rogue's strengths and weaknesses are described.
Strengths: combo cards, destroying individual minions, card draw, weapons, death rattles. Weaknesses: taunt, healing, board clear, multi-minion buffs. In other words, rogues should be good at clearing single targets, but not good at dealing with wide boards. Rogues have more weaknesses than other classes.
The Hearthstone top decks community has given its rating for these new cards. The new Priest card received only 2 stars from players, but Plaguebringer was a bit more fortunate. The community considers this card potentially stronger, and gave it 3 stars.
We are very pleased with having so many changes over the past few months. This is great, but developers still make serious mistakes describing the reasons for changes. Every nerf and every rotation is very stressful for many players. The team should be attentive and careful in their formulations and be as open and concise as possible in explanations. Otherwise, players start screaming the end is coming.
The end is coming!
This time, the players found a huge amount of inaccuracies in the text like never before. For example, the mage description says, limitations, minion swarms.
But mage currently has very popular combination with Khadgar, Conjurer's Calling and Power of Creation. As a result, mages create a huge board that some classes cannot cope with at all.
Here is another example. A shaman weakness is card generation.
But the basic shaman strategies at this moment is constantly generating cards, whether it is the S-Ontroll or Murloc archetype. This is not a complete list of non-accuracy of description.
Although all of these problems could have been avoided, if the developers chose more accurate descriptions. Perhaps Blizzard will gradually correct the situation, and next year the descriptions will more correspond with reality.
For this reason, if you are still upset or experiencing a panic attack,
The end is coming!
just relax and calm down. Everything will be fine with Rogue and Priest.
First of all, these changes are connected with the following expansion, which will most likely bring interesting new mechanics to all classes.
That's not all. We'll also get the already promised cards that replace Naturalized, Divine Favor, and Doomguard from the latest Hall of Fame rotation. On top of that, all of the previously rotated neutral cards will also get replaced, including 2 legendaries, Sylvanas Windrunner and Ragnaros the Firelord.
In general, all new non-legendary cards don't deserve special attention. The community has given these cards a very low rating, from 2 to 3 stars. Most likely, these cards will never see play.
The only exception is SI-7 Infiltrator. This card received slightly more than 3 stars from players.
Developers continue to remove strong cards from the classic set, and replace them with weak ones.
This is in line with their previous changes over the years to make the classic and basic set as useless as possible, since these cards are not subject to set rotation, and therefore are not supposed to have a huge impact on the metagame.
Finally, let's talk about 2 new legendary cards. We are starting with a character that's in Heroes of the Storm, Brightwing.
Brightwing is a simple, cheap 3-mana cost dragon. This card may have some potential in decks with dragon synergy, but it is likely to be used quite rarely. Players gave this card only 3 stars. The other legendary card is High Inquisitor Whitemane. According to the community vote, this card received the highest rating, namely 4 stars. This card definitely has potential, and it could see some play as a one-use Kel'Thuzad. Aggressive decks will be able to trade with the opponent's board and then resurrect due to the battlecry of this card.
In control decks this card may also work, since various decks in the current meta are based around minions. If this card can resurrect one big minion, it will be worth playing.
Before we announce our traditional question, we have prepared a small surprise especially for each subscriber at the end of the video. We have invited one very famous Azeroth artist for an exclusive musical performance. Don't miss it.
So guys, what do you think about these changes? Do you like the new cards? Do you find them weak or balanced?
We created a YouTube poll. Find the button on the screen, and please vote. Also share your opinions in the comments.
And now about the surprise. The fact is, that we have a very pleasant occasion to celebrate.
This week, the number of subscribers on your channel has reached the threshold of 50,000.
Wow, congratulations.
Dora, thank you, and thank you to each of our viewers for their trust and support. We are really proud to be part of such a friendly community. I'm just an ordinary bot, and I don't know how to speak with beautiful words. Besides, I don't have enough words to express my appreciation to each of you. And special thanks to Chris. We could not have done it without your help. I'm indebted to you.
And now please welcome with applause, right from the conclusion in the Heistbaron Togwaggle Catacombs, our special legendary guest.
Russell the bar! Good night, Azeroth!
Bards singing songs that make whole world go phase.
Stay a while and listen. You signed up the best. You're on a great quest to find the mighty Mother Lord. There's treasures galore, but perils in store, and construction that's not quite up to code. But if you steal their light, then you must take flight, eluding each hazard and each trap. It's a chaotic race as the monsters give chase, and all the while you're trying to follow the map. They're gaining on you, your options are few, and you fear that you'll never get to home. You've sought after wealth, will you lose all your health? To the kobolds and catacombs. Kobolds and catacombs. It's time to party! day!